Welcome back to the weekly roundup. No fuss or gimmicks, just a chit chat. I'll sound a bit stuffy because I've got a bit of a cold, and truth be told, I'm a little bit hungover. It was Remembrance Sunday yesterday, and it's one of the few days of the year that I actually go out and have a drink. I don't drink that much these days. If I'm told, in my army days, I was like most soldiers, I could put enough alcohol away to kill an elephant. I still can do that, but I just don't do it very often. I don't enjoy drinking. But Remembrance Sunday on CX Military, it's a chance for me to go out and go out with a family first off and foremost, pay our respects at the memorial, and then we go out and a load of us have a few beers, get together. It's becoming a bit of a yearly thing. So did that yesterday. But as you may or may not be able to tell, I mean, out the back window there, two things. One, the weather has gone horrendous again for another 7 days at least. And we've also got the beach regeneration going on, where they basically remove all the shingle at the beach. And it becomes a nightmare for me because it becomes like that. But that's going on. But yeah, another windy day. There has been some windows though. A couple of boats were out over the weekend, just gone. Didn't see anything of note, to be honest though. It was, no showstoppers. But the boats managed to get out at least. And I also hit the river itching last week. Being a bit of an all-rounder, I class myself not just a boat fisherman, although that is my bread and butter. And it's what I'd always choose to do. I do shore fishing, and I also hit the rivers and lakes for the various freshwater species. And last week I was on the itching doing the trout and the grayling. And I go down there every year, about now, October, November time, and I hit the grayling. It's a really good fun session, accessible venue for me, and I really enjoy it. But that's the perks of being an all-rounder. I don't know if any of you are the same or whether you do one discipline. Do let me know. But the benefit of being an all-rounder is that when it's blowing its nuts off like it is out there now, you've got other options. You're not sat there twiddling your thumbs, just making your rigs up. All the rest of the stuff, you can go and hit the shore, you can go and hit the lake, you can still fish. And I've always enjoyed that side of my fishing, is that I can branch out and do other stuff. So you're not tied to one thing. And I think that makes a big difference to the enjoyment. And I would encourage anyone who is sort of one-dimensional to get out there and try new things, because I don't think the weather's getting any better here in the UK, and we've discussed this before, and I'm not going to keep going on about it, but the winters do seem to be changing, and I think if you're relying on just the boats, it's going to be hard, I think, because you're limiting yourself so much. So I really do enjoy being able to get out and do that different stuff, and I will try and do some more this week, but we have torrential rain for a lot of the week. And fishing is just not fun in the rain. Not that I'm a fair weather angler, because I'm by far from it, and I will go out there and do that. But I'm at that point where I don't need to go and sit by a lake and drench myself just for the sake of it. I've got to enjoy it. So I'll consider what I do this week. But another thing is, I've seen an alarming rate. I know I've sold mine. I've spoke about it briefly in last week's chat video. But a lot more people even this week now I'm seeing selling their boats. There's a lot of people getting out of the game, and they're not selling to buy another one. They're selling to not get another one. They're getting out of it. And when you ask them, you dig deep into it, it's all about the added expenses, and it seems to be the decrease in fishing. Now, fishing's changed a lot down here in the English Channel for me. I don't know whether it's changed where you are. Let me know. But I'm down at Eastbourne, Brighton way, and there's been a massive decline in a number of species. Got a big lorry going past me now. You'll probably make it out over this window in a minute. Millions of pounds they spend down here at Seaford every year. There he goes. Millions of pounds making the shingle from one area of the beach to another. And then we'll have a storm in 2 weeks, a big one, and it'll level out all the work they've done. But I'm going off on a tangent. Yeah, beach regeneration works. Nightmare for me as a double leg amputee. So people are getting out. And when you dig into it, the costs, like I said last week, that for easy living in Eastbourne, the yearly cost is £3,600 a year. And easy living is what, 6.5 metres, 7 metres? So for that, you're spending best part of 3.5, 4 grand before you put any fuel in it and stuff. So boating is an expensive hobby, and I'm lucky that I say lucky, I don't really do anything else. I go to the gym, which is what, £40 a month, and that's it. Everything else is with my family. So I take the kids out and I just put money in the house and whatever else. I don't do any other hobbies. I don't do golf, God help me. I don't do any of that. So fishing's all I've got. So I don't mind spending the money, and you accept that when you get a boat, it comes with expenses. But yeah, so many people are saying, no, can't afford it now. Cost of living's too much. The fishing's not what it used to be. They're having to go a lot further to get the pollock, for example, down here, or they're going all the way out chasing turbot and they're not catching any turbot. You know, and they're just getting fed up of it and they're selling their boats. And I think that's also why there's probably a bit more of an uptake in people getting SIBs and ribs and polycrafts. Jake, good friend of mine, he's got the plastic polycraft type thing. And although it's not a boat and, you know, it's not suitable for some people, the costs of it or an inflatable SIB is nothing compared to what we have to pay to be in a marina. So you can see the appeal of the SIBs and the polycrafts. But for me, not for me personally, but that's a cheaper option. Everywhere you go now, we never saw, years ago, you never saw, without making myself sound old, I'm only 40, but years ago, you never saw inflatable boats at sea. You're not certainly offshore anyway. You didn't see many. You didn't see many kayaks. But nowadays, I've been 8-10 miles off on the edge of the shipping lanes. There's been little ribs going around, operating on their phones for navionics, and they're out there 7, 8, 9, 10 miles off. Never used to see that. And it's a real cost-effective option, so I can see the appeal from a cost point of view, but it's also a shame for the boating community because it seems to be a lot of good people selling up and they're not going to get a boat again. So maybe they'll switch on to the charter boats and the charter boats will get an uptake. I don't know, but the charter fishing seems to be a lot these days of, and I don't mean to offend any charter fishermen or charter boats if they're watching this, but it's a very different ball game, the charter fishing, from, again, 10, 15 years ago when there was good, hard, ruthless skippers around who would go all round the sun to find good fish. And there was good fish to be had. You know, at Eastbourne, we had Steve Bradshaw used to run Deep Blue, you know, 40-pound cod, big double-figure turbot, yeah, the 20-pound pollock and all the rest of it. And now you don't really, I don't think the fish are quite there like they were. But there's not many boats that want to go and put the miles in. They tend to go and sit on the 6-8 mile mark, do a lot of Chinese trips as well, which is fine because, you know, the money's money. But with the rising costs of fuel and the decrease in weather, you don't find too many charter boats now that want to go out 20, 30, 40 miles and take their crews all the way out offshore for whatever reason. So I think the charter industry has changed quite a lot, as has the recreational industry. I don't see too many charter boats selling up, but there is a definite shift in how they operate. So I don't know, perhaps those people selling the boats will put their money into a charter boat and go and do 3-4 trips a month. But, you know, you've got to find the right boats to get you off to do the fishing that you want to do. Certainly around here, there's a few at Brighton do it, and the occasional boat out of Eastbourne will venture into the channel, but a lot of them just stay inshore now, take their money for the trips, and that's how it is. Don't blame them, business is business, but it's why I could never be personally a charter boat skipper. I couldn't be a charter boat skipper for a couple of reasons, and someone's going to immediately think because of the legs, but I looked into that and there was an absolutely perfectly fine way that I could be a charter boat skipper. I had to just get around it by having someone say on board, when the crew comes on, in the event of emergency, they would get the life raft off the top of the roof. That's all I was required to do, as well as obviously the yacht master and the rest of it. But I looked into that before I went commercial fishing, and I've got all my tickets, you know, sea survival, first aid, I've got all that, under 16.5 metre skipper, got all that. But I had a discussion with myself and a few charter boat friends at the time, mainly John Goldsmith, Sea Leopard, who's no longer with us, and a few others, Frank. And I said, look, you know, what's your thoughts on charter boating? And they both said it will just kill your love for fishing. It will kill it, because it becomes not a hobby, it becomes a business. And you'll go out there and you'll have crews donking the leads on your boats, smoking, swearing, drinking. You've got to then tell them they can't drink or do drugs. And you've got to tell them no. He said, you know, people not try and pay you. You'll get phone calls all hours of the day at the weekends trying to book trips. And he said, they both said to me, it will kill your love for fishing and you will not want to go fishing yourself. And when I sat down and thought about it, and I've sometimes regretted not going down that route, because I do have a bit of a passion for getting offshore, and I would go out there and try and make it, you know, do good at it. But the more I look back on that, the more I think, thank God I did not go down that route, because I think I would have sold all of my rods, all of my gear, and I may well have taken up golf. It just, yeah, not for me, charter boating. Full respect to those that do it. But me personally, Yeah, don't think I would ever want to do that. But fair play to all those that do, because it's a changing game. But hey, is what it is. But yeah, that's this week's weekly chat. A bit of a waffle, I know, but I've had a lot of good feedback on these, and we've got a lot of new subscribers from them. This is only our third one, but I think we've already got like 40, 50 new subscribers just from these little weekly chats. So thank you for watching. Any questions, or if you want me to cover anything in a weekly chat, let me know, because I'm open to talking about anything. At a minute, I'll go with what's been going on in my week and what I want to talk about, but I am open to you telling me what you want to talk about. So if you've got a suggestion, let me know. Of course, I'm over on Facebook as well. Get me on there, and I will see you all again soon.